I'm sure that many of the people who are listening to this have taken piano lessons, right? You don't get to great by just playing a piece one time. You have to practice. You don't play it over and over. That's not how we learn a piece. So in music, I learned a great deal of discipline. I learned that it was very competitive, as is business. I learned that there are times when I had to play piano not by myself, but with a violin and a cello and a viola. And at one time or another, somebody else has a voice, and it's not always me, the pianist. So depending on who has to have the lead at that moment, just like in business, sometimes a salesperson is in charge, and sometimes, the HR, the human resources, is more important, the personnel issues. There are other things about music that taught me good enough isn't good enough. When you're a performing musician, you have to really perfect it. So you don't tolerate C+ work. You tolerate A work. And probably the last thing, and the most important thing I learned from music, is I spent a lot of time thinking about human beings. How do people feel? Because I had to think about how to play and make you, my listener, feel heartbroken or joyful or happy or really serious or any emotion. I had to think about how to convey that. So if I use that in my business life, let's say I have an employee who comes to me and they don't really want to share something that's tragic in their family life. I've thought about that. I've thought about how it would feel. And it just makes it a much easier kind of, two-way connection. And then we solve the problem. It's not between us. It's, I've got my employee, my worker here, and we've got this matter. We're going to solve it together. And that makes me a much more successful executive than most. Always has.